All right, the last changes, what we did is, these are the last changes we had done after our discussion. Okay. What the problem that has been brought to our notice is that we currently do not have the information on the users and businesses of their tax ID and their identification information. So I added this user identification table. Okay. The user identification is basically any type of identification. It will take care. Okay. Okay, let me show. What are the identification? It can be passport, SSN, EAN, driver's license, business license, etc., etc. Okay.
And
so
each
those are the
identification will go through a KYC process.
KYC, yeah, KYC later on you can ask them, hey, where is this? Like, for example, this is actually just the number. We are not capturing any documents here. Essentially, he's giving the social security number, then the EIN number. For the businesses, it's the EIN number. And also Dunn's number, Dun and Bradstreet number is another number, which is required. Okay, so these are all the identification numbers. So all of them can be stored here.
Yes.
Okay, so then the profile, we can also have, in the profile, I have kept the Dunn's number in the profile, not on the identification, because that Dunn's number is not like an identification, it's just a number assigned like a customer ID kind of thing, customer number or something assigned. So Dunn's is the Dun and Bradstreet number, which is given to many businesses as an identification that their address is correct and their location is correct. The Dunn's provides that. Dun and Bradstreet provide that information. Then the primary SIC code and primary NICS code. This is the industry code. For the computer industry, it starts with 5. Okay, so the NICS and SIC code is very important for the businesses because that's how the businesses are identified. Okay, with that primary, because the tax information and all that are income tax and sales tax information depends upon their NICS and SIC information. SIC is old, NICS is the new one, National Association of some commercial identification, something like that. Okay, that's the one. So
these
SIC
are not
is the
mandatory
standard.
fields. These are just a temporary or a optional fields.
Yeah, these are the fields, because when somebody is setting, we can identify which industry they belong. Okay.
Yes.
So that is that. Then if you come to the identification, this is very important for us. We track this, what is your driving license number for the individual? If it's a business, then we have to track the EIN number. Okay, that is the logic we have to use. Okay.
Yes.
So this is user identification. This is we can keep an indicator here saying that business ID indicator. Okay.
Yes.
It tells these are the business IDs that we need to capture. Others are personal IDs. Okay. So that is the one. How do you distinguish whether this ID belongs to a merchant or a business or a individual? Is through this user type. User type tells what kind of user it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And for individual user, like person, the biometric information. The biometric information is here. So same way, one user can have more than one biometric. One user can have more than one ID. He may have passport, driver license, etc., etc. Okay.
That means the personal identification.
Yeah, these are all the personal IDs. Yeah, these biometric is all personal. Like, his fingerprint, his iris scan, his handprint, etc. Okay.
Okay.
So this is not something which is required for the businesses, because businesses have their other IDs. Okay, so this covers everything. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, biometric type tells whether it is the iris scan or a fingerprint or a handprint, etc. Okay, or even the DNA print also, if something is required in future. or any kind of biometric will be here. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be using persona for personal identification.
Yeah.
And persona just provide a response from their end with some JSON response and a status about the user identity. If that was a like verified user or just a normal data taking. So they also provide a rating about the data they have.
Yeah, so we are providing both. If if it is a big text file, which we had to store like a blob, we can store it here, all
Yes.
the content, and also the actual biometric image we are linking here. We can
Yes.
store that biometric image and then link that image file here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that completes everything. Now let us
Yes.
cover other subject areas one by one. Okay. Let's go to. So this is the user subject area. So this is clear now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you go back to this user has user can create an account. User belongs to one or more accounts. Currently, he is going to have only one account because I don't think he needs more than one account at this time.
Yes.
Okay, and that account can have account-to-account relationship because if it's a account that belongs to a consumer of a business or a customer of a business, this is what he would get. That relationship.
Yes.
If it is a business himself, then he will put all his customers into this relationship. Okay,
Okay.
whenever he adds a customer, we'll put that into this relationship. He is the merchant or a business, and he is the customer. Okay.
Yes. So
So
business
parent
users
account.
will call them as customer, but a user can also add his pay and payer.
Yeah.
A retail user, so he will be calling it as pay or payer.
Yeah. And I also created an account relationship type code. This relationship type tells it is like a business to customer relationship or
Payer to pay. Yeah.
two members of a household. That means wife and husband. They
Correct.
may be sharing an account. Okay, that kind of thing. They may be paying each other. So what kind of relationship do you have with this customer when he adds? When a new member is added, we set that relationship here. Is a member of a household or a company and employees, whatever. A company wants to pay the employees. Any kind of relationship, or merchant to vendor.
Yes.
These are my vendors whom I want to pay, so that we understand how these relationships will work. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So account to wallet. This is the account to wallet. So like each account has a wallet. Okay. And each account can have a service account, one or more service accounts. The service account is like, whether e-check and payment gateway account, card knocks account, etc. Or what is called the credit card gateway account. Okay. And if it's the account wallet, there are multiple types of wallets that one account can have. That is the type of account, whether it's the regular wallet or a promotional wallet, or sometimes we can put the money into a temporary hold wallet. That hold will be released only after all the disputes are cleared, because legally we may be asked to keep that amount separately. So all kinds of things can happen here. Okay, that's why we kept this type.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
They are promotional business.
Yeah. Yes. So a user profile will have a gender and a language, and iris scan, ID, and the gender. All these things are kept in the user profile itself. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So this user biometric address probably is not required because it's already there. So we'll see how this goes. Okay.
Yeah. So
because the user profile here, what is happening here is only one item we are linking here. Okay, because the user profile gets only one item. But like for example, if he has multiple languages, we cannot store multiple languages in this user profile because only the primary language we are capturing here. But the fingerprint and iris scan and these two, we kept as the two relationships from the same biometric. Okay. The user, image, basically those two images we are linking here. So we can keep these both. Okay. We can identify all the relationships and whatever this image that belongs to the the biometric, we'll link that image here. Okay. So that's the image. So this is the gender. So Dunn's information and Nake's information is all here.
So done, snake, and SS will be designed by Pay2mate to any business.
No, this is all standard. Like, let me show you that SIC code. If you look at the SIC codes, SIC code. Okay.
Yes.
So standard industrial classification code. So each company which is selling a product like this.
So they do acquire that from any governing body, or
No, they will enter. The person will enter. When he says he is a business, then we will ask them. Yeah. We'll ask them, what is your industry code?
If someone do not have this codes,
No, they know. They will have this code.
Okay.
This is the code. For example, banks is a 6021.
Yes.
Okay, like a computer industry, our industry will be in one of these. Okay. I mean, a full list is not here, but and the other one is the NAICS. NAICS is North American Industry Classification System.
Okay.
Okay.
So
this
do
is
you have to provide a drop down, like a select option, or
no need? No need. They will just enter. We will not provide it.
Okay.
Because there are too many.
Right.
There are too many, so they will enter all that information. So they know that information. That's not an issue for us. Okay. So that is the thing. So you can actually go to this place and then you can get all the information. All the codes will be available here. Okay.
These are mandatory, right? So they have to provide it, or will not be able to proceed.
Yeah, like for example, 2022 next. Okay.
Yes.
So this is how these things will work. Like information. So 5.1, this is all information related. So 5.1 is the sector. This is the sector code, first one.
Yes.
If you go under 51, then these are all the different things, like the motion picture and video distribution, music publishers, etc., book publishers, software. This is all, we come under the lot of software.
Correct.
Okay. 5132. So telecommunications, satellite, computing. Okay, this is what this is, the computer infrastructure, data processing. So 51821. Data processing. See, this is under 5182. It comes on, we come under one of these.
Yes.
Okay, like this. So they know what that is. 518210. See, this is all the NAICS code. They will enter this code. If they enter this code, all of them is covered.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is only to take care for any reporting purposes that we have so many computer industry companies with us, so many agriculture, so many food industry, etc. For that reason, we just capture that. In the long term, that would be useful if at all we had to target any products and services.
Sure.
And this is the authentication OTP we are selling. We are sending the authentication OTP, and that all the other information is here. Okay, that covers the user. Okay.
Yes.
And account, as we have seen already. So user has the account and the service account. Account related information is here. Account related information is account payment setting, like what all things that he has to initiate his payment. So he sets his payments. So my credit card is here, my bank account is here, my currency which I pay is here, all that.
Yes.
Okay. So account has got this account payment setting, and from payment setting, this is the payment device, all his credit cards. So the credit card information we're storing here, whatever credit card he has added, and who issued that, whether Visa, MasterCard, Bank, etc., Discover, and the device type, whether it's the credit card, debit card, ATM card, etc. Okay.
Yes.
The wallet. Account has a wallet. The account relationship, account relationship, which we already covered. Okay.
Correct.
So account reward, if we want to give any reward to him, like, some incentive, we can give a reward here. And that reward ID will show up here. This guy is eligible for so-and-so incentive. We have not elaborated anything, but we'll cover this later on. Okay. The reward amount and all that we have not kept anything, but we don't have any plan here. But later on, we can add something here.
So
user type already covered. User profile is here. So an account, from account, he can create a purchase document by selecting a product. And purchase document for this account, all the item details and line item, how many he want to purchase, all that he can add them.
So
Okay.
purchase order, that means a customer can create this.
Customer
order.
can create a purchase, yeah. So that he can place an order. It's like, I want to buy this. This is like a purchase order.
Correct.
So from account, he can do the purchase order. And a service is linked to the service account. Each service has got a name. What kind of service it is, like merchant services, credit card merchant services, etc. That's what is linked to the service account.
Yes.
Okay. That covers the account. Let me have some water.
Just
Then comes the address information. The address information covers everything, like all the way from the country. Of course, continent is there, country to the state or territory to the county, like a district. And within that district, a city. And under that city, this is the metropolitan area, the sub-city. We are calling it a sub-city, which is like that MSA, like, what they call it as local areas within the city.
yes.
Like in Calcutta, you have this Diamond Harbor, okay?
Yes.
Or Victoria thing, or Bombay, you have Dadar, VT, Goregaon, etc. These are all part of Bombay.
Yes.
So that's the sub-city. So the postal address is a combination of all this. And this combination is what we are putting it into account address, because an account can have more than one address. One address they want shipping, another address for mailing, etc. So this account to this address combination is this account address, not only postal address, but also other types of addresses, electronic address. Electronic address is like email, web address, FTP, SMTP, all those electronic addresses is here. And the biometric address, we already have pushed the biometric address to the person, so we don't need this here. Okay, biometric address types are these, iris scan, full hand scan, etc. So I'm removing it from this subject area. A telephonic address tells whether it's a mobile number or a landline or a fax number or a pager, etc., or a telex. They all come under the telephonic lines. So even this address is also linked to one account address. So at any given point in time, this account address, the account address IDs could be multiple. That means one account can have more than one address. So this account ID could be common and there could be multiple addresses. Okay, and how that address is used is the data usage type. Used for shipping, used for mailing, used for OTP. So the same address we can identify as 3 different types.
Yeah,
okay.
I think we should call the model as address usage type or address data usage type. Data usage type will create a little confusion.
Yeah, so the data usage type has come from other, the reason why we are using this for not only for
Okay. So that
yeah,
means we can use this for multiple events.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we'll be using data usage for any other.
Any other thing, yeah.
Okay. So
Like for example, yeah, like not only for this, but you can add other additional values here, how this is going to be used. Okay.
yes. That
Not
means if someone want to assign some account as default account,
yeah,
then he can use the data usage type code.
yeah, like payment, like payment usage is also you can how this particular data you want to use.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what and here we are renaming that part here. This is the assignment here. Okay, if your role name is this. Okay,
Yes.
so that covers everything. Now the address part is now done. Bank and bank account is simple. Okay, an account, a bank, and there's a bank information is here. There's a bank account with all the required bank account number, routing number is already here.
Correct.
So that you are linking to an account. A bank account is linked to the bank and the two account holders. They belong to this account. So this bank account has an account number, and this
Yes.
belongs to both these parties. The maximum of two parties. One is the primary account holder and the joint account holder. And this
Yes.
account, we are linking that to the account because the user, there are two users, and because we have to affect the account directly at that level. So
Correct.
instead of linking directly from the user, we're linking at the account level. Because from account, we know who is the user. Because
Correct, yeah.
ultimately, all the transactions we are tracking at the account level, not at the user level. If this guy withdraws some money from this bank and send to somebody, then we know who has used it. So this will come under his account detail.
Correct.
If Tanay and Abhijit both are using this account, and your bank account, Center's bank account, we know which user has actually affected the transaction.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, then
so only primary account holder will be able to add a joint account holder, right?
Right, yeah. At the time he adds that, yes. Later on,
And
if we
joint account holder will not be able to view that account in
he
their
can,
system.
that we will do subsequently. Don't worry about it now. We don't have much usage for the joint account holder, but this joint account holder's name will come under the e-check.
Yes.
That's why we need this information.
Correct.
And the e-check will contain both those names if in case it is required, if the joint account holder is there on the signed check, because this is the relationship. Okay.
Correct.
That means check to check. So this relationship is actually the self-joining relationship. That means we create an e-check, and then when that guy receiver receives the check, again he signs, and then that is the reference. So this is the check he signed. So these two checks will be stored in the same table, e-check table. One is the original e-check, and the other is the signed e-check. Okay. Yeah.
And the same ID.
No, the e-check ID will be different, right? This is the e-check ID, and the old e-check ID is this.
Okay.
And this is the issuer and receiver. So on the receiver side, those two will be there. Two signatures will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, from this bank account, we issued an e-check. And one is the issuer, who issued, and another is the receiver, who received. Okay, so if you can send it to Tanay, essentially, Abhijit sends to Tanay. Abhijit is the issuer, and Tanay is the receiver.
My signature, and he have also received it. He has also added his signature.
Yeah. So the front image and back image, basically, the signature is embedded. After embedding, we're just storing that image.
Correct.
So all the image is linked here.
Yes.
And this tells what is the ID for this. Okay. Yes. So that completes that. So this will be one module. Okay, all this can be one module, you know, adding bank accounts, and then e-check generation will be a separate module.
Correct. Yeah.
The reason why
We can
this
add
bank
this
account is
in under
related,
bank module.
yeah, why how this e-check is related to the bank account is what we are showing here.
Yeah, because there'll be a check background, media, and a signature, default signature for a bank account. So there should be only one check under one account.
Yeah, it's only one check. Yeah, only one check is created here.
Correct.
Then the e-check ID, you know, becomes a new e-check ID when that guy signs the check, because that's a different image.
Correct.
So that's why. Okay.
Yes.
So that is that. Then the CMS. CMS essentially is you know, the site documents. You know, all the CMS information. The site policy. What is the policy we are referring to? It's the user license, AML, HIPAA, PCI compliance, privacy policy, security policy. So each of the policy will have one or more documents here. Okay, this is that
Yes.
relationship. And that document is here. This document file or the media, I'm calling it as a media file because everything is in the media file itself. It could be PDF, it could be a Word document, it could be just a, you know, HTML link, whatever. Okay.
Yes.
Everything is that media file, because we don't need to have another table saying the document file or anything, because we are storing all of them in the backend. So that media file is what we are linking here to the site document. So a policy can have one or more documents linked here. So this is the file, and the file type tells what kind of file it is. It's a Word document, PDF, JPEG, etc. And the media type tells whether it's the video or audio or document. Okay,
Yes.
those
Yeah.
three types. Or it could be some other things in future. Some other types of media can come. We don't know. Okay, so
Yes.
the media file type tells whether it's a JPEG or PNG or AVI, MP4, MP3, etc. Okay.
Correct.
So that covers. So this is the site full settings. You know, like you know, all the site optional settings, general settings. I have not really given any much thought to it, but you know, this we'll do as we keep going. Like you know, whether we want a classified system, whether what is the time zone, what is the site language, what is this application name, etc., etc. Menu limit and reCAPTCHA, site reCAPTCHA keys and all that. So is there the site level information? And also when we are sending mail out, all the mail protocol, the mail host, you know, information, our, for example, mail.pay2mate.com. Okay. And the mail port, mail username, which user address we had to use, what password we had to use to send the mail out, etc. Okay. Mail title will be like, you know, whatever the, you know, communication from Pay2mate. That's what it says. Reply to where it should come when somebody replies, whether the email verification is required first time when the user registers. All that is here. So we will review this and finally we'll put this into practice. Okay.
So,
and the watermark images, etc. This is a good list. This is, I just copied it from another site so that we can see how we can make use of it. Okay.
sure.
So that is that. The menu,
Yes.
and then the menu type would be which side the menu, no, top menu, side menu. That location tells where that menu is located. And the menu type is, you know, these four types of menus. We have not given much thought to it, but if we need to encourage, these are just the subtypes. You know, these are like logical only. Okay. Ultimately, everything is stored here in the menu. Okay, we are showing here because the menu type tells what kind of menu it is and where that menu is located. Okay.
So is it for the business dashboard or is it for the landing site? The menu?
Yeah, that is the that is for everyone, because for this site we could be everyone, every thing, and if we need that distinction, whether it should be on the consumer site or business site or admin dashboard, we can always define that as with another, usage, okay, or the portal name.
Correct. Yeah.
Portal name could be used later on. We'll check that. What we can make any modification to. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, I think the time is ending now. This
Yes,
part is
I
clear.
actually have a question regarding the checkout button.
Yeah.
The issue is that previously we actually changed the connection account connection. Now only a user with account can pay another account, right?
Yeah, user has to account because accounting is required, and otherwise we do not know who is sending to whom.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now we have a checkout button and also a payment link. So in case of checkout button, it will be hosted on a merchant's website where they will be charging money from their customer to get paid about for their products. Now, as the customer click on this pay now button, which will open up our website, and they will proceed to pay the merchant. Now, if the customer is not a Pay2mate user, how he will be able to pay the merchant?
If he's not a Pay2mate user, then he cannot pay.
Okay, so you'll directly show him a login option to pay.
Yeah, he can. The only way he can pay is if the customer or the merchant has his own credit card merchant account.
Yes.
Then the customer will pay using his credit card. But if he wants to use that wallet or any other option, then he has to register here. But if the merchant has direct
if the
ACH,
merchant do not have any service account, he only have a wallet, then the customer have to choose wallet because there is no other option.
yeah,
So he
correct.
have to log in. That is good. Now,
Yeah.
if the merchant have 2-3 types of account, one can be a dependent, or one can be independent ACH or Cardnox account. So he have his own credentials.
Correct.
So now, how the customer will go through on this process? Because now you have an option to pay using his bank account or using his credit card. So you have to log in that case.
We'll restrict that based on the merchant, the accounts that he has. So first condition you will check is whether the service account type is a direct account. If it's a direct account, then you will allow him to charge the customer a credit card even if there's no registration. But if it's an indirect account, that means he uses our account. Okay, then
yes,
we have to allow him to accept the credit cards based on, I think for the whether he uses his own Cardnox account or our Cardnox account, we can have him take the credit cards. That should not be a problem.
okay.
Yeah.
So that means the customer may not have his account, but he can pay because the merchant have a service account or Cardnox with a credential, with his
Correct.
own credential.
Correct.
So how this transaction model will handle that? Because transaction model have that only from one account to another account, a transaction can happen.
Even that user will create that account. See, whenever he is creating, charging a customer, the customer is entering